I can remember what I really burn into my mind is the happiness I see on the homeowners when they get their keys. I remember the tears in the room, and they're so happy. And if they have children, the children are running around looking in their bedroom and everything. And I can see it in the eyes of all the volunteers that show up during those dedications as well. They've been a part of something great, and it comes to fruition. And that is some of the greatest memories I have.
Our local chapter of Habitat for Humanity was formed in 1992 in Jacksonville. Since that time, we have built 24 homes for deserving families in our community. But what does it mean to be involved in Habitat? Or how does it feel to be a Habitat homeowner for that matter?
When Habitat gave me a call, it just seemed like the thing to do, and every year I look at another project and I love doing the work on it. I like laying the blocks, pouring the concrete. I like framing the house up. I like putting the windows in. I like hanging drywall, finishing drywall, hanging cabinets. I like all parts of building a house, and I think this is the 25th year since we started building the houses.
I got involved with Habitat because one of the girls I worked with had just retired from being on the board, Bonnie Brown. She had said something to me 3 different times, and I kind of blew her off at first because I had the impression, I didn't know anything about Habitat, but I had the impression that it was like, in a sense, a handout. And I was like, no, that's not for me. I want to have a house someday, but I don't know when that time is. So then finally, the 3rd time she asked me, she told me to research it. So I did, and I Googled and Googled after finding the Jacksonville, Florida website, and was like, no, I'm not going that far. Then I finally found the Morgan County one and did a lot of research, and I was like, oh, well, this isn't a handout. Just like everything else through my life, I get to work my butt off for it, so I can handle that. So then I just applied, and it kind of, Habitat took me from there.
As the family selection chair, I basically am there from point A to point Z. So they turn in a pre-application, and I'm the first one to view that, which just gives me some information about the applicant. And then as we move on from there, I help them look at their financial situation, which a lot of people who are applying have never even considered some of the things that we need to know.
Karen and Aaron both came to my home visit and did the assessment of my current living situation and explained what would happen next and asked some questions. But then after that, it was all Aaron, and quite honestly, I don't know what I would have done without Aaron. If just even what I thought was the most ridiculous question, she was right there, and she was very informative, and she was my go-to person for just about anything, I think. So, and I know that since I've moved in, I've even contacted her just with little questions, and it's like we built a friendship or something. But she was amazing.
I know it's a strange word to use, but it's a very intimate process as well, especially for me being on the family selection committee, because I do get to know the future homeowners extremely well. And they share things with you that they probably haven't told many people before, and then you really get to see their smile at the end of it and know that you helped do that.
I definitely don't know what the homeowners would do without Erin if she ever left Habitat. I feel like she's vitally important. She kind of keeps it all together.
You take a large population of people that want to own homes, and we have to basically make sure that they meet the income requirements, and they have to have good or repairable credit. They can't qualify for traditional bank financing. So there is kind of a small window. So we are always looking for clients, and certainly one way to get involved with Habitat is if you've got a friend, a coworker, someone in your church, someone that's a next door neighbor maybe living in what you consider to be maybe unstable housing. Recommend Habitat. We'd love to talk to them and see if we could get them qualified. That's where it starts.
The Habitat homeowners, in my opinion, are some very dedicated people. They want to work to make their lives better. and they will take the initiative and go forward. And we screen those applicants, and we're trying to help them, and they're helping themselves. From my standpoint, you can't ask for anything else from someone. That's the kind of people I see, the Habitat homeowners. They've worked hard to get where they're at with a new house.
Kelly and I, when we first started with Habitat, before that, we lived in a small 2-bedroom bi-level apartment, and it was considered housing. It was on the south end of town, and it was a great apartment, but it was quickly getting very small for just the two of us. And I have always wanted to have a home of my own, but didn't know how I would ever do that, because saving money is a chore. When you're not making a whole lot, it's hard. So whenever I finally heard about Habitat from one of the girls at work, then I investigated and applied, and I found out that was as long as I got approved, which I did, that was probably the smartest move for me, and to this day I don't regret it. So
what an impact it's having in the community. I mean, you think about it, and people, I think at times also a misconception, people see and they say, oh, that Habitat, maybe it's not quality construction, maybe it doesn't blend into the neighborhood.
Until I met with the team, Larry and Aaron and Dale and everyone, and actually got to sit down and figure out, okay, this is what you can expect. I didn't have any expectations or preconceptions of what to expect with the home build, but now that I'm in here and living in it, I honestly don't know if I could tell the difference between a house that was built 5 years ago by a whole professional team or my house built by a bunch of volunteers from Habitat and in the community.
I believe the biggest misperception about Habitat is everybody thinks it's a giveaway program, but it's not. It's a hands up. It's a hand up trying to get out of substandard housing. The people have to work for the house.
For the sweat equity hours, you have to do 250, and they like for you to do it both on the house. But that's hard to do, and I don't think anyone would ever want me to put up a wall for a house, let alone the foundation. So I tried my best to stay clear of that aspect. But once the walls got up and I was able to help with insulation and going on forward from there, I helped as much as I could. But I'd say the majority of my hours came from volunteering. I did a lot of volunteering out at the hospital on the weekends in their gift shop and main information desk, and then I also did some volunteer work at the Salvation Army retail store too to help get the hours in. And that was long, like you almost felt like you're never going to get the hours in, and then one day they're all in. And it's huge satisfaction.
Habitat is one of the most successful nonprofit ventures in the United States. And I'm sure glad to be part of it. I started out just doing it because I like building, but I like everything about it.
If I had someone that was interested in Habitat or wasn't sure what it was, I mean, my biggest thing would be, first of all, you gotta apply and be patient, because it's a huge process. It's not like just going to the car lot and picking out a car and being like, I want that, and you leave with it that day. It's a process. But I have to give 110% kudos to Habitat, because they're amazing, and I don't know how else to describe Habitat, but it's totally worth the wait. And I've actually had someone here not long ago that was asking me how it went for me, and I'm like, well, it's a little bit of a roller coaster, but it's totally worth it. But overall, just getting to watch your house go up and even helping with it and then getting to live in it, it's just like huge satisfaction. And even with the little bit of headaches you get in between it along the way, it's 110% worth it, if not more.
Habitat for Humanity is a great organization because it does provide that direct impact on your local community. You can walk outside and you can see someone walking down the street that you changed their life. And I think that's what's so great about this organization, is that you're not just donating money to a cause, you're not just, helping one weekend somewhere. You really are changing somebody's life that might live next door to you. And I think that's what's, most rewarding about being part of this organization.
Getting the Habitat house has improved my and Kelly's life tremendously. We no longer have to worry about the neighbors on the other side of the wall from us, or if we put a certain size hole on the wall or anything. If I want to put something on the wall and change it tomorrow, I can, and nobody's going to tell me I can't. And that right there is enough to be rewarding. And of course, she, like I tell everybody, she now doesn't have to listen to me yell at her to stop doing her cartwheels, because we have plenty of room for her to run around and stuff. And so all around, it's just amazing. We fight less now too, because we have more room. Getting the message out about Habitat is vitally important. I didn't know about Habitat until someone pushed me to at least investigate what Habitat's about, and I just don't feel like enough people know about it. And it, from start to finish, for the Habitat team and builders and the homeowner, yes, it can be a little bit of a headache of a road. Everyone works together, and Habitat just has a great team, and they're always looking for applicants. And I just think that it's important to get that word out, because if I'm only one person and I didn't know about it, how many people just on my street probably don't know about it? Most people drive by and they're like, that's not a Habitat house. It's because people don't know anything about it. But it's like I don't know what people classify as a Habitat house, but it's like, it might have the Habitat name behind it, but it's a house and it's our home now. So it's just getting that word out, I think, is vitally important.
I would like to say that Habitat's a fantastic organization. What we do at Habitat is build houses for people getting out of substandard housing, but really the business we're in is that it comes from the heart. We're in the love business because we love one another enough to donate our time and our efforts and our energies and our skills to make somebody else's situation in the world better. And you can't, and there's a lot of good organizations, but I really believe Habitat is right up there among all of them, trying to help people better themselves. It's a hand up, not a hand out. And you can't ask for a better organization. And I love the people. I think all of them that volunteer are heroes in my mind, and I laugh with them and I totally enjoy it.
Find out more about Jubilee Habitat by visiting our website at jubileehabitat.com. We also invite you to like our Facebook page, where you can stay up to date on the latest home builds. You can also find information about joining our board, or find out how you can volunteer your own time to help a deserving family realize the joys of home ownership.